Okay, so let's look on some of these other tools, and we'll go a little bit faster over them. They're a little bit more simple. So our pen, it's very simple. It just we select the color we wanted, and we can paint with the pen, which have our proper size, opacity, the hardness, how hard we want to smooth the edges. You can see how edges hardness, and of course spacing if we want to a dot or other things. So the pen is straightforward. Our erase tools, same, it's allowed us to erase specific elements. We can paint all, and right here the different paint, you can see the tolerance it's set. It will detect edges, so it will paint on specific elements where we're pressing on. So we'll go back to paint, and we have options to use it alpha. We select alpha mapping, including specific contagious areas, and all preset. So fill, it's simple with fill with colors. You can also use it some gradients for this, but overall it is just fill tool. We also have a tool picking, so we can pick 1 pixels, 3 by 3 or by 5, which average on the colors, and we can pick coloring. This is a help if we want to set color matching with maybe preload image that we want to paint over or create other effects. So our simples, again, we can preset if we want to have it the current layer or going through all layer sampling. In many cases, how I said, because if we preload some other image, mostly we want paint on a new layer. So in this case, we want to be sure it is set to all layers, checking on the colors. The next, we have our vector, which is current. We don't have it when it's enabled. And we also have a very interesting symmetry tool. With a symmetry, it's allowed us to create a very beautiful symmetrical. This is new one, add. So let's just create. We'll click on the brush and we'll select some preset. Next, I want to go click symmetry. Problem is, if you start painting right there, it's nothing happen. So let me undo this. When we check on the symmetry, be sure it's enabled use it symmetry. And currently we set to 3. Let's go set to 4. And seeing right now we have 4 dots, and you can see how they're modifying. So if I start painting in one area, they're repeating. So we go back to symmetry, and let's go to 7, and you can see now it's repeating in 7 areas. But as we do this, be sure in the symmetry tool it will increase. We also can mirror, which is just also mirroring some other elements. And you can have much fun with this tool. I do like it. Symmetry, it can create very interesting pattern effect. Again, when we're done, let's go uncheck the symmetry so we can go back to our other elements. Selections is very allowed us to select specific area, and it's very powerful when you start knowing how to use. So let's simplify. Right here, for example, I have its symmetry, and I select a simple square, so I can go and draw this area. So now if I'm going paint, select, see what's happening. I'm just painting in that select area. So this way I can specify. So if I'm going back to selection, and for example, if I select just a red color or a specific any with any areas, so then if I go back to painting, and this will take a little bit time. Notice what's happening. Now I'm painting in those just select areas. Of course, my tolerance on a selection like right here will work, depend, because magic wand was selecting, is depend on how tolerance was on the color was preset. But overall, I'm painting just in those select areas. This way you can create custom painting, custom brush inside specific color or inside specific shape, because you can also go and select how you like it and adjusting. Again, if you want it, you can go to after and deselect all, or Control D, Command D to select everything. Okay, so sometimes you want to make a little bit more complex selection. So we're going back to different operations. Like for example, we go select cube. Next, I want to select circle. And as they're all selected, I press enter, and you can see right now intersect. You also can subtract. For example, we can go right here, create it, and now I create multiple. There we can also inverse our selections if we need it. So in this case, if example, let's go just select maybe some of this brush. And as I'm painting, for example, I'm painting inside selections. And if we go back to our selection, inverse. So at this point, I will paint outside my selection. So it just provides you flexibility with selecting areas or specific where do you want to selection work. Again, remember, we can go ahead and deselect all. Now we can go work on everything. This is simple Boolean. So if we want just single, we'll align in this one. And in this case, if we want it, we can create, and it will create just one without Boolean operation. Okay, next we have it also transform. In this case, if I have it selection set, you notice how it will readjust, cut off, so I can take different selections, adjusting, and moving them around if I need it. Okay, my other ones, it's canvas cropping tool, so it's allowed us to resize our tool as we were working before based on our adjustments. You remember in previous we speak about safe zone, so sometimes you can also, your safe zone will be included as you're cropping around. And right here we can use it by image size if we preloaded one. We can also type in, same as before, log ratio show. So it's almost same as we creating new document, only we can work with this based on our canvas change sizes. And if you work with other applications like Photoshop, Affinity, or other ones, you're probably very familiar with some of this tool. Our property allowed us to rotate our image. So we can undo, let's stop. Okay, so let's go ahead and we can just undo, redo. You can also use your short key based on this, and it can be Control or Command Z, Control Shift Z, or Command Shift Z. So it's also depend on if you use Mac or PC.